Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in today. Did you know there's a few different ways you can support us? We have a really cool Patreon page that has some great perks for contributing. Also, we have 4 sweet shirt designs currently up on our Store Envy page. Both links will be in the description below. And no matter how you choose to support us, we are so grateful to have you on board. Enjoy the show. What is up, Hulkamaniacs? We are back with another brand new edition of Big Boys and Body Slams, episode 9. We're 1 week away from 10, boys. How's it feel?
Feels good.
Feels pretty darn good, doesn't it? My name is Zach. Over here we got Luke.
Let me tell you something, brother. The Big Boys and Body Slams, we're almost in episode 10, dude.
And Kyle.
Hey, everyone.
I'd also like to mention I got my first win in fantasy football, dude.
Thank you for the ongoing fantasy saga. Thank you for the update, Luke.
You're welcome, brother.
Hey, I hope everybody saw Conor McGregor get what he deserves over the weekend.
Did you guys see the pictures going around of Drake's face?
Oh, yeah.
I loved that.
UFC is at an all-time high of like similarity to WWE at this
It's
point.
becoming wrestling.
We had a Royal Rumble in the ring.
The Rumbless.
Also, I hope you guys enjoyed the new bumper we have before the podcast. I figured instead of doing a generic housekeeping segment before when we start each episode, we could do a generic housekeeping segment before each episode starts. So we hope you enjoyed that. Once again, we are Big Boys and Body Slams coming to you from Centralia, Washington. That's not important, but I just felt like I should throw it in there. You can find us on the Google Play Store, iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Let's get those YouTube subs up, everybody. We got
no Spotify still.
No Spotify. That ship may have sailed.
Yeah,
we'll
we
look
got to
back
keep
into
trying for it.
We'll look back into it.
No shirts this week, but some of you need to start buying some. Nolan Linegar, not pointing any fingers.
Ryan Donahue, you also said you'd buy some?
My brother, you also said you'd buy some. He doesn't listen, though. Let's be honest. Do these people listen?
Yeah, Nolan does.
Okay, thanks, Nolan. Buy a shirt.
Yeah, Nolan.
BigBoysBodySlams.storeenvy.com.
Link will be in the descriptions, however you are watching and or listening. Kyle, what do we have today?
So I'm going to tell you a story right here to start this off.
Story time with Kyle. We'll get some music to lay under it.
Bound for Glory 2005 was the first TNA show I ever ordered. I fell in love with TNA after this show. This is where this TNA mark comes from. Like, I got a little glimmer in my eye right here, a little tear coming. This is the show, and it's a good show.
Yeah, that's awesome. Once again, we weren't able to watch the show together today, so this is going to be kind of a...
we.
2/3 of us watched the show together and had soup.
The important man.
Yeah, some of us take it seriously.
You guys got soup?
Yeah, we had cheddar broccoli soup.
Dang.
Out of the Instant Pot.
So again, this is going to be kind of a fun little adventure to where I try not to show my hand, but once I get here, I just start talking about the show.
He says, I'm not going to talk anymore about the show, and then he starts telling us stuff.
I proceed to talk about the shows, but for the most part, I think it'll be kind of a nice surprise. This is 2005, so this is a period when I actually was watching TNA a bit. I was a big Samoa Joe and AJ Styles fan, and that was the place to see them then. I had never ordered any pay-per-views or anything, but I had just been watching the television product, so it was fun to go back and watch the show.
And this is a time where their biggest acquisition is Team 3D. There's
crazy.
There's no Christian. There's no Kurt Angle. There's no Sting.
Yeah, that's worth noting.
Foley.
This was well before the diet WWE phase of TNA. This is when they were still
the youth revolution.
I don't want to say homegrown talent because there was a lot of ex-WCW and ex-ECW guys in the roster at this time, but the two big figureheads at the time were guys like Christopher Daniels and AJ Styles,
and then
Samoa Joe,
and unfortunately Jeff Jarrett.
Double J.
Well, then you even got the guys like the Team Canada guys, and then you have Monty Brown and Chris Sabin.
Yeah, this was a lot of
there's a lot of guys that
young
didn't get
talent.
a start elsewhere.
I also agree with you, Zach. This is my absolute favorite point of TNA, and I'd be willing to say that the X Division, I mean, for me, definitely, the X Division stacks up and is better than any cruiserweight, any light heavyweight division in the WWF, in WCW, except for cruiserweights right now are pretty damn good, but...
I mean, I'd still put the X Division ahead of the cruiserweights now because
they got the time and they had the spots in the pay-per-views.
But you had Joe, you had AJ, you had Daniels, and then we talked about this during the podcast.
The legendary Chris Sabin.
Yeah. Chris Sabin and Petey Williams don't really get the love that they deserve, and
the Canadian Destroyer.
By the way, that was something I was thinking about during that X Division, the Ultimate X match, was that Petey Williams still in Impact to this day.
Yes, he is.
Still wrestling for Impact Wrestling,
which is awesome.
Never jumped ship. Has stuck around for all that time.
Sanjay, low key.
Loki's not. in there.
I'm not saying he's on there right now. I'm not even saying he's on the pay-per-view, but he's X
he's just saying
Division.
he exists.
Yeah, I'm just saying there was a ton of great X Division talent. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Should we get into the show?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'll die.
So we open with an interesting video package. Basically, it's hyping up all the matches. It's pretty well done. And there's this gentleman dressed in like traditional.
We gonna mention that pre-show at all?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Get into that first.
So
Get into that first.
the pre-show match was really good. It was Alex Shelley versus Austin Aries versus Roderick Strong versus Sanjay Dutt.
In a 4-way, wink wink.
Oh yeah. Well, first of all, I want to point out that this is 2005 and Austin Aries is on the pre-show. Well, in 2 weeks is Bound for Glory 2018 and Austin Aries is in the main event.
What a time.
It's crazy to see how his career's progressed. He's a great wrestler.
Only took him 13 years.
Well, I mean, he's.
I feel like that comment was unwarranted, Luke. That was
Yeah, I mean, he's also main evented other shows.
He could be
before this.
listening.
He's incredible.
He's won the championship like in 2013
He is
too.
incredible.
But yeah. We're not really going to talk too much about this match. We're just going to kind of let you know it was a good match.
It was worth noting I didn't watch it because I was watching the GWN feed, which did not have the pre-show included in the main pay-per-view segment. So it was on the DVD that Kyle and Luke were watching. However, I did not get to watch it. I was bummed out because it did seem like it was going to be a great
So, Luke,
match.
if there's any spots you want to hit.
Yeah, dude. Well, I mean, you said it's a good match, and I don't feel like you're doing it justice. So the point of this pre-show, and Don West was really selling it hard during it, was once you watch this, you were supposed to think, God, I have to order this pay-per-view. Because, this whole time they're like, hey, if you love this, order this right now. And I thought this was an amazing match to show off a lot of car crash type talent and really get it going. I'd like to say I love Sanjay Dutt, the player from the Himalaya, and I never really watched / had enough appreciation for Austin Aries or Roderick Strong, but they started. Roderick Strong chops so damn hard that they started a holy shit chant for the chopping.
Also, don't forget there was a weird tag rule in, though, for the Fatal 4-Way.
Yeah, like if you got tired, you could tag another person in, but then you would lose your chance to win, basically, because whoever got the pinfall
It was
wins.
super weird rules, but it was a really good match. I liked it.
Yeah, Roderick Strong, the hardest chops I've ever heard in my damn life. Those were gunshots
he's a good chopper.
every time.
Who picked up the win?
Sanjay Dutt picked up the win.
By the Dragon Rana.
And I gave it a 3 3/4 star match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. I would 10 out of 10 have bought this shit after I watched that. There's no question.
And
That's the point.
And then after that, you got my legend Raven coming to the ring and saying he wants a title shot. So preface this: Kevin Nash pulled out of this main event, so they were trying to find a main event replacement.
Did he
for
actually
him.
pull out, or is he just
Who knows?
okay?
But they said he was in the hospital. So Raven comes out. He wants his rematch because he lost the title at a house show.
He said, "What about me?"
They said, "What about me? What about Raven?" And Zbyszko's like, "No." So then Raven chokes Larry Zbyszko, who came out. And then Rhino comes out, and Rhino says Raven isn't the same. Some girls got in his head or something. A few years ago, you were crucifying people and stealing families and
Kidnapping people and
now you're different. So then Raven attacks Rhino, and then Cassie Riley is randomly with Raven, helps Raven, and then eats a fucking gore.
Oh, a sweet gore.
Yeah, he sold it really well.
I will say, you mentioned Larry Zbyszko. He is like out of control on this show. He's acting like a 1940s like big silver screen motion picture actor.
And he is sweating all over the place.
He's like a 10 out of 10 this whole time.
And you can tell. Yeah, no, he's got a huge ass rag, and he's just patting the whole time.
He's acting like a stressed out banker from the 50s. Like this whole show.
Lying out the door.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how are you going to feel? You have fucking Raven going after you all
That's true.
all day.
You're trying to figure out your main event for the show that's happening.
After this, Raven and Zbyszko had a feud where I think Raven and Zbyszko actually wrestled a match, but then Zbyszko was bringing in guys like from Raven's past to face him.
Oh, that's
It
interesting.
was a cool storyline.
That's interesting.
But then, yes, we get to your video package.
So yeah, we get to a video package. There's a man dressed in, I guess, traditional.
The TNA narrator. Come on now.
Sorry, the TNA narrator. Is he dressed in like traditional African garb?
Yeah, it looks like he's wearing what Akeem the African
yeah,
King used
literally
to
what I
wear.
was thinking. Yeah.
He's got a great voice, and he's just going through the show. He delivers a little monologue. It's awesome. Super cool. I was hyped up to watch the show after that video package. And after that, we get straight into the action. And the first match, of course, is Samoa Joe versus Jushin Thunder Liger.
And I'd like to say, apparently Hurricane Wilma was happening during this.
Yeah, they made a Hurricane Wilma reference.
They said not even Hurricane Wilma can stop us. So that I thought that was interesting.
Right on, Impact.
They're in Orlando, yeah.
Yes, so Jushin Thunder Liger and Samoa Joe makes his entrance and does this like really cool traditional like Samoan dance.
It was really cool.
With some dancers. I'd never seen him do that before. I knew he was a dancer previous to wrestling.
I was gonna say it's cool to see a different side of Samoa Joe.
I
Yeah.
can never see him doing that today, but that boy was getting
He was
down.
getting it.
Getting down with his
He
bad
was.
self.
It was a really extravagant entrance. The crowd is super into Samoa Joe, and then once Jushin Thunder Liger comes out, they give the man the respect he
They lose their
deserves.
shit.
They lose the crowd was so hot for the whole show, but particularly this opening match. They were on fire for this match.
Holy
Oh, yeah.
streamers.
Yeah, streamers
they
everywhere.
did the streamers for Liger's entrance.
Oh, also his theme music literally sounds like it came straight out of a Japanese anime.
Oh yeah. Well, the funny thing is too, they're talking about on commentary how he's such a seasoned veteran, and this was in 2005, and he's still an active wrestler to this day.
Right.
What a
Almost
man.
20 years later.
What a
It's
legend.
Crazy.
Too bad he got squashed.
It wasn't. I wouldn't call it a squash.
Yeah, I wouldn't call
guess
it a
we'll get into
squash
the
either. He
action
got
here.
some offense in.
So the crowd is going nuts as they get in. They get in. They size each other up for a good while. They do a long stare down after the match starts. Liger hits a basement drop kick. Joe gets sent outside of the ring. Liger jumps on Joe from the top rope, and then he goes for a crossbody back when they get back inside the ring, but Joe catches him and then hits a fallaway slam and then hits a huge running knee to Liger in the corner, and then there's a big knee drop for a near fall from Joe to Liger, and then a nice like running power slam spot that Samoa Joe does when there's an Irish whip, and then he hits the quick snap power slam. That got a near fall, and then there's a rear chin lock to Liger for a bit, just kind of wearing him down. And then there's a rolling knee to Joe in the corner, a suplex to Joe for a near fall. He got him up and over for a nice suplex. The crowd really ate that one up. He
Sold
had
it very well.
Yeah, he did. He tried a couple times and then finally got him over. It looked like he just barely got him, but it was cool to see it. I mean, Jushin Thunder Liger's not necessarily small. Like, he's short, but he's
tall.
bulky.
Or not tall, I'm sorry. Yeah,
but Joe is
big
just...
enough.
They're selling Joe at 285 back then. And
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that, but he's a big dude still. It is weird to see him so young.
Yeah,
here.
he's kind of
Baby face as hell.
I was gonna say he's kind of got a baby face on him.
Yeah. Not only that, he's kind of babyface to the crowd too.
Yeah,
So in more ways,
the crowd loves him.
Yeah, the crowd loves him. But they also love Liger too. So this was.
Oh, yeah.
They got nice dueling chants during this match as well. Samoa Joe does hit a nice enziguri for a near fall to Liger, and then hits a powerbomb from the corner. Liger hits a powerbomb from the corner, I should say, which I was into that. So it almost looked like Samoa Joe was trying to set Liger up for the muscle buster, and then Liger got out of it and then took Joe out of the corner and powerbombed him for a near fall. I didn't know the man had that move in him. That was really cool. I like that a lot.
That was a good sequence.
And then right after that, though, Joe got angry and then hit a muscle buster. Did not go for the pinfall. Got the coquina clutch. Put Liger to sleep for the victory.
He was undefeated, by the way.
He was undefeated. That's definitely worth noting.
I also gotta say, this is one of those spots where Joe puts the submission on, and the ref raises the hand 1,
Yeah, 3
2,
times.
and it actually happened. You don't see that very
Yeah.
often, but I thought that made Joe look really strong because he's putting a legend to sleep.
Yeah. Well, nowadays they don't do at least in WWE, they don't do the 3 anymore. They do it once, and if you don't get your hand up,
Really?
the match is over. Yeah, they don't do the 3 anymore. Rarely. Every once in a while they'll do it, but
I didn't know
usually
that.
usually they'll either just do a visual cue to see that he's out, or they'll just do the arm once, which you wouldn't know because when was the last time Joe put anyone to sleep with a coquina clutch? Am I right?
True.
But that's a discussion for a different day.
Rip.
This was a fun opening match. I'm going to give it 3 stars. I thought it was really cool to see Liger and Joe. It's not a pairing you'd think about. The crowd was super duper hot for this match, which definitely helped me get into it more as well. It was a decent little match.
You're also forgetting Jushin Thunder Liger using the very efficient and underused move, the running bitch slap.
That's right.
He sprinted wholesale into Joe and then just slapped the shit out of him, and then he got a muscle buster and a coquina clutch for his troubles.
Yeah.
3 stars. And one thing you mentioned earlier, that they build Joe at 280, you said?
280, 285. It was something around there.
Well, anyway, I love that the X division didn't have a weight limit like most other light heavyweight, cruiserweight divisions.
As long
did.
as you were athletic.
Yeah, because Joe proved time and time again that he belonged there with the other young up and comers, which I dare say the most talent on the whole roster was in the X division.
When it's all said and done for Samoa Joe and he rides off back to wherever it is Samoa Joe's going to ride off to, is he going to go down as one of the greatest of all time?
I think so.
I say yes for sure. I think
What number?
I'm not putting a number on it.
Yeah,
I'm just
I'm
saying,
not
is
putting
he
a
in the
number on it
conversation
either.
for you?
Yes.
Because I think just his size and his athleticism
Yes.
is still like, even today, it's amazing to watch the things he
He's
can
got
do.
the best big man enziguri of all time.
Oh, I agree. Okay.
I give it 2 3/4, and I know I'm kind of going a little bit down because it was a good match, right? But as I'm watching this match again, and I remember thinking this a long time ago, these two could have done better.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they definitely.
These two could have, with more time, could have tore the house down.
It was worth noting. It was a very short match. I wouldn't call it a squash per se, but it was. Maybe 6-7 minutes, maybe.
So, like, yes, it was a good match, and I think for any other two wrestlers, you could make the argument for a 3-star match. But I think they could have done more.
The ceiling's gigantic for those two.
Right.
Oh, for sure.
I agree. Yeah, no, it all just came down to time for me. They just couldn't tell as much of a story.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to go for about 2.75, but man, that crowd just...
Oh, the crowd was hot.
electrified me.
The crowd was hot through the whole show.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Except when they thought Jarrett was going to win the title. Then they were...
Yeah, they didn't like
They
that.
were like, oh, no.
So after that, we got they said it was going to be Shane Douglas interviewing the Diamonds in the Rough.
And then he didn't.
Shane Douglas was nowhere to be seen.
I'm pretty sure that happened again throughout the show.
He was usually there after that, but first time especially, I noticed.
Hey, huge friend of the podcast, the franchise.
The franchise, who was a
You look
backstage
great here, buddy.
interviewer for TNA at the time, but not for this segment because it was just the Diamonds in the Rough hyping themselves up.
I have to say, I really like Shane Douglas as a backstage interviewer.
He was intense.
Yeah, he's intense and he shows a lot of charisma, and he acts like he's actually really into it. And so I don't know. There's a lot of these backstage announcers now that are just kind of like the boring, like
going through the motions,
ESPN type guy. But Shane Douglas was like, yeah.
Yeah, he was
hyped up,
he was definitely a character.
Got some white powder and got the work.
We didn't mean that, franchise. We love you.
So we do lead right into the match after that, which is of course the Diamonds in the Rough, which is Simon Diamond, David Young, and Primetime / the Skipper, which is what they kept calling him in the match.
Elix Skipper.
Primetime Elix Skipper.
Yeah.
Yes, I called him Primetime, and then I went back and forth between Skipper and my notes, so I'll have to straighten that out.
And they were facing Apollo, Sonny Siaki, and the unsung hero Shark Boy.
Yes, Shark Boy, who got a monstrous pop from this crowd.
So me and Luke were talking about this. How did they never get sued for Shark Boy? Because remember, there's like the Disney movie Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Yeah.
Like how did Shark Boy get away with this for so many years?
They probably couldn't trademark something as generic as a Shark Boy, because it wasn't like they were directly ripping off the film's IP. Like it wasn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was a different interpretation of what a Shark Boy could be. I don't know why we're having this discussion.
I don't know, but Shark Boy was awesome.
I've thought about it.
It's worth noting. It's worth noting. And
Is he still around?
Sure.
I would love to see him pop up in Bound for Glory in a couple weeks.
I just wish this was the Stone Cold Shark Boy with the vest and the clam juice and shit.
Yeah.
Well, how badass would that be? Because there's that tag team match coming up at Bound for Glory, and it's Rich Swann and a partner of his choosing versus Matt Sydal, and I forgot Matt Sydal's partner's name.
Shark Boy.
Is it Shark Boy?
Wouldn't that be badass if Shark Boy came to be Rich Swann's partner?
That would be great. They could do a little dance number together.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Pure speculation.
I was looking into this match.
Do it.
It was a pretty fun little match, I thought. So Simon and Shark Boy start the match. Simon gets the early offense on Shark Boy, takes him out with a lariat for a near fall, sends him into the corner, and then the DSD gets countered, and then Shark gets thrown off the top, and little man taking big bumps, and then Shark Boy gets the shark bite on Diamond.
That is so great.
Such a silly move.
By the way, we talked about how Jim Cornette hates Joey Ryan and the dick flip. What do you think he thinks about the ass bite?
I think he thinks it's ridiculous, and I think he hates Shark Boy. I think he hates Cheeseburger, probably.
This is fucked up, motherfucker.
Whoa, Jim Cornette.
This is stupid as fuck, motherfucker.
Oh, friend of the podcast.
Where's my mayonnaise, motherfucker?
Mr. Cornette, it's nice to meet you. We have an interview right
Double
here.
catch up.
So, Mr. Cornette,
Podcasts are so new school.
Jim,
I like newspapers.
Jim, what do you think of Shark Boy?
He's dumb as fuck, motherfucker.
He's not a heel.
Okay.
I hate Jim Cornette.
We'll have to do a Jim Cornette episode.
But the having his mask on and then pretending to bite someone's ass is awesome.
And the way Simon Diamond sold it was great too. He was running around like he just got his ass burned by like a lighter of flame or something.
Or bitten by a shark.
Or bitten by a shark, exactly. So Primetime does come in now, and then Apollo comes in, hits a neckbreaker for a near fall onto Skipper. See, I went back and forth.
Hey.
Went back and forth.
So you guys always make fun of me for liking big guys.
Yeah.
Apollo was not bad.
No, I agree.
He had some cool moves in this match.
Yeah.
I don't even really remember him.
I was just about to say that. I really don't remember the Diamonds. I remember the Diamonds in the Rough in a name, but I don't necessarily. I remember Simon Diamond, but the other two guys.
Well, Apollo wasn't in the Diamonds in the Rough, but
He was with.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, he was with
Yeah.
Sonny.
I don't remember him either.
okay, but You don't remember Elix Skipper?
Not
Prime
really.
time,
not
baby.
really.
You don't remember when he climbed the cage in TNA and did the Hurricane off the top?
Nope.
Wow.
Yeah, like the tower or whatever.
No, he's the one that walked across the cage and jumped up in the air. And
Yeah, but weren't there 3 dudes along the cage?
I'm pretty sure it was just a guy sitting on top of the
Well,
cage.
he looked good
Sorry,
too.
Dad.
Yeah, he did look good.
No,
he's
he's
great.
good.
He's
No, I
very
thought,
good.
I thought all 6 gentlemen looked as good as they could in this match.
I don't remember Siaki or Apollo though. I remember
Siaki was in for a short period in this match, and it was a name that I'm sure I've heard, but it was again.
I've heard the name. I just don't remember. it.
Yeah.
Apollo was
Continue
good.
with your.
Yes, thank you. So again, Apollo does hit a neckbreaker for a near fall, and then gets I called this a half Nelson slam, I guess.
Yeah.
He hits it was a half Nelson slam. It was an interesting move for a near fall, and then Young comes in, takes out Apollo, and there's some double team work. Skipper gets a shoulder block to Apollo for a near fall, and then Apollo hits a cutter to Skipper, and then Sayaki comes in, takes out everybody. This was like probably the majority of his offense. I had a hard time. I don't know about you guys, but I had a kind of a difficult time telling who was the legal man in this match.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
actually,
so did
People
the-
were
so
just
did the
coming
official.
and
So did the
going
official.
like crazy.
Luke and I mentioned that too. We were like, "What is going on? Who's
it was
legal?"
it was a bit messy.
I tell you what, motherfucking Slick Johnson was in there. He'd keep shit straight.
Dude, we're Slick Johnson guys here at the podcast. Friend of the podcast, Slick Johnson. Was he the first ever friend of the podcast? He might have been.
Well, either him, Dakota.
Oh yeah, it's probably Dakota.
Slick though.
Well,
We might have referenced Slick as
no,
the first
it might have
friend
been
of the podcast.
franchise, dude.
You
Oh
think?
yeah,
I
it
think
was
so.
franchise.
So he's the OG friend of the podcast.
Hit me
Okay,
up.
okay.
We're Twitter buddies.
So again, Siaki comes in. He takes out everyone. Apollo hits a cutter to Young. Skipper takes out Iaki outside. Shark Boy jumps over the top rope onto everybody. Then Young jumps over the top rope to everybody. Apollo hits a super kick to Simon Diamond, and then he goes over the top rope. And there's just a mass of humanity outside of the ring at this point. Things really started breaking down. It was chaos. It was fun chaos, but I do think it kind of at this point started to hurt the match a little bit. It was a little too messy, but I did like the spot of everybody jumping over the top rope a lot. I thought that was fun.
that was cool.
Yeah. And so Apollo does jump over the rope, and then Siaki and Skipper in the ring now. Young comes in, hits a spine buster to Siaki for the win. Again, I didn't know David Young was the legal man, but
Hold on.
apparently he was.
That was like a reverse leapfrog into a spine buster.
Yeah,
Yes,
you,
that's
you
fair,
forgot
that's fair,
that
that's fair.
Skipper threw Siaki over the top and
he
then
kinda-
right into the spine buster.
Yeah, kind of caught him. I give the match 2.8. I thought it was a pretty decent little match. It was a little too chaotic for me. Just there was a lot. Order was not something that you found very much in this match, but I did enjoy it. I wasn't bored. It wasn't bad.
I gave it 2.5. I thought it was good. I just thought it was really sloppy, and at some points, and I hated that I never knew who the legal man was. That
Yeah,
really bothered me.
That was the thing that drug it down for me.
But back to Apollo, he was hitting some cool cutter-like maneuvers. Like
Yeah.
I remember him throwing a guy up, turning
It was like-
around,
yeah, it
and
was like a
diamond
pop-up
cutting him.
cutter.
Yeah, it was awesome. Those are some cool stuff. Luke, you can take the mic.
Oh, hey, thanks, man. 2 3/4. I thought it was very fun, but yeah, it was just sloppy. It was just chaos. But you know what, dude? With your complaint about the ref not knowing who the legal man is and so on and so forth, I never realized. We've watched so many pay-per-views, and granted, a couple of them have been ass. We've watched so much. I forgot how much the referee just says, screw it, and forgets who the legal man is.
Oh, yeah,
that
for
happens.
sure. I've noticed
that happens so much.
Especially with Tito Ortiz.
Yes, especially Tito Ortiz, who might not have read the rule book before
I
tonight.
don't think he was just letting him go fast and loose in that main event. But we'll get there. We'll get there. So up next, Shane Douglas is backstage. He's interviewing Jeff Jarrett, who basically just says screw everyone on the roster.
Jeff Hardy, screw you. Sabu.
Screw you.
Oh, the homicidal, genocidal.
No, he said homicidal, suicidal. He forgot the
Genocidal.
mass murder part.
Yes.
Yeah.
Screw you.
Raven.
Screw you.
And then Monty Brown comes up
Oh, hello, Mr. Brown.
and pretty much dares him to say it to him, and then says he can smell his fear. And just Monty Brown is just peak Monty. He's so weird in this
God,
promo.
he looks so
literally
good, though.
smells it.
He
man.
looks great. He is weird in this promo, though.
Like he said he's gonna hunt you down like he's in the Serengeti.
So,
Yes.
I'm going to put this out there right now. My goal is to find Monty Brown online and message him about our podcast.
You should do it.
Pounce.
Yeah, he was weird, but in a good way. This was a fun little thing. I got to admit, I kind of like Jeff Jarrett just like running down everybody on the roster.
I thought it was a funny
It was
promo.
entertaining. It was entertaining. For
And
sure.
and then Monty Brown was just using weird words that didn't make sense.
yeah, he was like he must have like been looking
Luke-
at a thesaurus right before he came on.
Oh,
set.
oh my gosh. I'm going to he's just using weird adjectives. I'm going to tumultuously take you out to Jarrett. And then he also said, I'm going to perpetually pop you. Dog.
Never changed Monty Brown. Never changed. Also, I guess
He was like Stephen A. Smith, dude.
He was. Also, it's worth noting Gail Kim was with Jeff Jarrett. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Slight bosom shots.
Slightly, yes. And up next, we do get Lance Hoyt versus Monty Brown, and we get a Slick Johnson sighting. I wrote it down. Slick Johnson is officiating.
I learned tonight that his real name is Mark, and I'm pissed that he didn't come out of the womb as Slick.
I wish his name was Rick.
So from this point on, we're never going to refer to him as Mark. He is only
He's Slick.
Yeah.
So here we go. Lance Hoyt versus Monty Brown.
Monty Brown, by the way. Sorry, I keep interrupting.
Go ahead,
but Monty Brown's theme, which is just like pants, it's just a rip off of Down with the Sickness, and you can't tell me otherwise. It is like the same guitar riff from Down with the Sickness.
I'll buy that.
Sounds like most Disturbed songs.
Really? You're gonna hate on Disturbed right now?
Zach,
the better new metal band than a certain
Disturbed is terrible. Okay, so we have Lance Hoyt versus Monty Brown here. So again, Slick Johnson is the referee for this match. So Brown comes in and gets an early advantage. Hoyt does come back, shoulder blocks Brown, and Monty needs a breather, so he goes outside, and then Monty sends Hoyt inside again, and then he goes for a plancha right back out, because Brown is kind of outside playing to the crowd and just being cocky Monty Brown, which gives Lance Hoyt a chance to recover, catch his breath, and then just plunges right over the top rope onto him. For a big guy, Lance Hoyt was doing some pretty athletic things in this match.
I'm not a huge Lance Hoyt fan.
Which shocks me, by the way.
Yeah, because I like big guys, I guess. But
Nice.
I like big boys that do body slams.
Hey.
But he has a really nice,
Really smooth moveset is what I noticed.
a really good moonsault.
Yeah, which he did later
His
in the match.
moonsault was sick.
Yeah, it was a great moonsault.
So Hoyt eats some massive gunshot chops by Monty Brown here. A lot of big chops on this show.
Not quite Roderick Strong.
No,
but
not quite Roderick Strong, but still pretty good. Hoyt decides he's going to try some of his own. They exchange some chops, and they exchange corner strikes. Hoyt gets suplexed to the outside, and then Brown hits a follow-away slam, and then Hoyt comes back with a big boot. We're back in the ring now, and then Lance Hoyt hits the moonsault to Monty Brown for a near fall, and then
Hello?
yes,
It's right about this time that I notice in the background of this crowd is one lovely lady wearing a black shirt that simply says, I heart dick.
That's so true.
I didn't notice that.
So please, viewers, listeners at home, if you watch this pay-per-view, watch out for the Monty Brown-Lance Hoyt match, where you will get a good view of the lady with the I heart dick shirt.
Lady, if you're listening, can you write in and tell us what that shirt's about? Like, who's that shirt referencing?
I think we know what that
Yeah,
shirt's
it's pretty
about.
self-explanatory. Yeah.
All right, 2005, man, what a time.
I don't think stuff like that's changed, but all right.
Maybe not.
I think people still heart dick.
It's some people. So Hoyt goes for a crossbody, but gets caught and then gets power bombed to Brown. Or sorry, it's the other way around. He gets a power bomb onto Brown for a near fall, and then Hoyt hits a Uranagi for a near fall, which again you might know is
What? I'm sorry.
a Uranagi.
You watch your mouth.
Sorry, a rock bottom.
Okay.
For a near fall, and then Brown hits the pounce out of nowhere for the win. What do you guys think of this match?
I gave it 2.5. I thought it was a good match, good big man match. Monty Brown I really like him. I really wish he would have stuck around in TNA instead of going to WWE, ECW, and being Marcus Corvon, because that didn't work.
I agree. Yeah, 2.5. I'm right there with you.
I actually gave it 3.
Wow.
Because I mean, Lance Hoyt, I did not expect much. He was super impressive. Monty Brown was super fun to watch, super high energy. He had that, you kind of mentioned a power bomb, but he has like an alpha bomb, which I thought was super cool and I thought should actually be his finisher. But I remember as a kid not liking Monty Brown, and I think it's one that Disturbed ripoff song. But then I saw the pounce, and I was like, that's why I didn't like him.
This guy's got a problem with the pounce. So if you
the pounce
is essentially just a big shoulder block.
He likes
Big.
the gore, but he doesn't like the pounds.
I love
They're the
the
same
gore.
move, almost.
They're not
Basically.
the same.
They're close.
Bro, he just throws one shoulder in, and this one was like a gross looking pounce.
It's
too.
okay to be wrong.
Okay, we'll give you this pounce was a tiny
The
bit
pounce sucks.
So what did you rate it, Luke? Sorry.
Three stars. It was good.
All right.
It was good.
Right on. So after this, we get some shots of TNA fans in India. Oh, we forgot to mention there was a Fan Fest clip before the last match.
This was not as good as WrestleMania 10 Fan Fest, but I wish I was there.
It looked cool. The room was full. People were signing autographs. Looked like a good time. It was funny that they were interviewing all these people, and they were talking about how TNA is the future. TNA is going to be around forever, and like knowing what happened, like slowly was like, ooh.
They were
yikes.
also saying, we love TNA because they're not like the other people. They're not a big soap opera. And I was like, boy,
Just give it
the
a few
next 10 years are going to be a shocker for you.
So that was that. After that, we get Shane Douglas actually interviewing somebody. This time he's interviewing the Three Life Crew backstage.
3 Live Crew.
Which, of course, is The Truth, Conan,
Oh, you didn't know?
and BG James, who formerly known as Road Dogg. And Kip James is there, too.
Who's formerly Billy Gunn?
And what was his point he was trying to make?
Okay, so Team Canada has a guy outside the ring, right? So Kip James was saying, listen, I'll be in your guys' corner. Conan doesn't trust him. And Ron the Truth and BG are like, yeah, come on. Yeah, we could use you in the corner. Conan's like, nah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
a
that
short
covers
story. I really only think Kip James showed up because he was wearing a shirt that said, I'm Kip James, bitch. Like the Dave Chappelle skit.
Yeah, I know, I got it.
Okay,
Thanks.
thanks.
So
Watch that too.
the next
Fans.
match is going to be Team Canada, which is, of course, Eric Young, Bobby Roode, and A1, sorry.
Steak sauce.
Yes, versus the Three Life Crew, which is Conan, The Truth, who you might know as R-Truth, and BG James, who you might know as Road Dogg.
Ron the Truth Killings.
And
Yes,
Scott,
Ron the Truth Killings.
Scott Diamore is outside the ring.
Scott D'Amore is escorting Team Canada to the ring.
Yep.
And is Gail Kim in this match as well, or is it just D'Amore? I can't remember.
No, Gail Kim's not in this one.
Okay.
But first of all, I gotta say, I love both these factions.
Mm-hmm.
Team Canada was like the ultimate heel faction in TNA, and Three Live Crew was so much fun.
Well, I think Team Canada, I mean, obviously they were Canada in your face, but they didn't make that, they weren't one-dimensional with that. I feel like they did other heel stuff that wasn't just the classic foreign tropes.
Yeah.
And you know what else is crazy to me is how Bobby Roode and Eric Young look in this match.
Especially Eric Young.
And
Eric
it's
Young,
like,
yeah.
God damn. Something I want to point out too is I forgot that every time the Team Canada pyro would go off, Eric Young would jump and be scared of it.
Eric
And
Young's character is essentially this like cowardice, like little boy.
that kind
skittish,
of
yeah.
hides behind Bobby Roode and A1.
And at this point, he's blonde with a faux hawk, clean cut.
I love it.
No
it's
tattoos. He what a character transformation he made throughout his career.
Well, yeah, didn't you go from this to Don't Fire Eric to the
Yep.
superhero Eric to
Yep.
the world champion Eric
Yep.
to Sanity Eric?
Wow.
Eric, I appreciate Eric Young a lot. I really
Me too.
enjoy him.
Good man, good man.
So let's get into this match, shall we? So Conan and Young are going to start. Conan is looking jacked in this
God,
match.
he looks good.
He is looking stacked.
The artist formerly known as Max Moon.
The juice is loose.
Maybe, possibly. I don't want to go throwing accusations around on people, but
Okay.
Conan was in great shape here. I think this the only time he was in the match, though? It might have been.
Yeah, and he hit that badass Alabama slam.
Yes, he did. So quick action to start. Rude comes in right away, and then Conan is on fire. He's taking everyone out. He throws a shoe at Eric Young, which I laughed at.
Oh, is that what that was?
It was a shoe. He threw a shoe at Eric
Okay,
Young.
we were thinking it was like
was
a
like a
cup
water
or
bottle or
something.
No, it was a shoe.
I love it.
It was awesome. And so the Three Life Crew gets a triple team on Bobby Roode, and basically they hit the flying headbutt to the
No, it was a flying leg
the leg
Yeah, it
drop.
was a
Yeah,
leg
I'm sorry,
drop.
it was the leg drop. It was the flying leg drop to the
The
naughty
PP.
the PP of Bobby Roode. So then Truth, I guess, is the legal man here. Rude gets the advantage for a very short time, and then there's a run to Rude, and then a spin kick to Rude from Truth. Truth was on fire here. Truth still looks good. Like, I'm glad they've been using him more on SmackDown, but
Me
looking
too.
at it back then, he was a super athlete.
I don't know why. I still think that he's one of the most underused wrestlers of all time.
I've always thought
I
that.
agree.
He's
I
just
totally
so
agree.
ridiculously athletic.
Do you guys remember when he came back and they did the Miz and R-Truth versus The Rock and Cena? And I
Yes.
thought R-Truth was going to be set up for this, like,
Well, he main evented the
Survivor Series.
yeah, but he also main evented the one Great American Bash that WWE did against Cena for the title.
They did more than one
Yeah, I was about to say
Great
they did a
American
ton.
Bash, but
It was the one in 06. The one with Stacy Keibler on the poster.
Oh, yeah,
he
I
main
can
evented
picture
that
that
show.
poster.
And yeah, I always think I remember going back to when he was K-Quick in WWE.
yeah, me too.
What's
I
up?
was really into him back then. Like,
Yeah, he was cool.
So seeing him here, yeah, he's a super athlete in this match. Yeah, I like the Truth. I'm a big Truth.
Me
Truth
too.
fan.
I always have been.
What's
super,
up?
super cool to see him utilized on SmackDown again now as one of the key player. Really,
And I've always liked Carmella too, so I kind of like them
It's a good
together.
pairing. It's a really
weird
good
that she
pairing.
kind of turned face.
like out of nowhere. But she dyed her hair. That's how you knew
she
she
looks
like the turn
good.
was complete.
She looks good.
How good.
Certainly.
Mela is money, dude.
Mela is money. So the spin kick that Truth hits to Rude does warrant a near fall. And then A1 comes in, hits a running power slam to Truth, and Truth gets beaten down in the corner, gets back up, hits a sling blade to Rude. They didn't call it a sling blade, but that's what it was. It was a sling blade.
Nice, man.
Yeah, thanks. My wrestling knowledge is just pouring out of my brain tonight. Even though last week I was missing moves left and right. I'm on it tonight, fellas. So now both men are down, and then James Storm and Eric Young come in, and then BG takes out
James Storm
everybody.
isn't in this match, bud.
I'm sorry, I meant BG James.
Okay.
Comes in, and I'm used to having Bobby Roode and James Storm together, all right? And BG James comes in and just takes out everyone. He's doing the jive punches. He's doing, not the shake, rattle, and roll, but
basically.
he's doing the shake, rattle, and roll to everybody. He's just a striking machine here. Rude hits James with the hockey stick while the ref gets distracted by Scott D'Amore, and that allows Eric Young to get the pin. I thought this was a pretty decent match. The ending kind of came out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. I gave it 3 stars. I enjoyed it.
I gave it 2 3/4. I thought it was really good. You forgot to mention that in the middle of the match, Kip James came down, sat down.
Oh yeah, he was sitting down on the ramp.
And then after the match, Team Canada attacked 3 Live Crew, and Kip came for the save. But he came out, grabbed a chair, and acted like he was going to hit Conan.
Yeah, because Conan was kind of...
they were holding him for Kip. And
saying,
Kip
hit him, bro.
And Kip just started swinging at Team Canada.
Yep, so Kip made the save.
2 3/4. It was fun. It was kind of messy. But I love 3 Live Crew. I love Team Canada. It was pretty... It was
fun. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Luke?
I gave it 2.5 stars. It was really quick. That was the biggest thing.
I did not expect it to end when it did.
One thing we didn't mention, my favorite part was the intro. BG James channeled complete degeneration, or New Age Outlaws, I should say.
He was like, you might remember this.
Yeah, and then does the TNA proudly presents the soon-to-be
Tag Team
Champions of the World. Yeah,
that's nice. We were in harmony there, dude. That's really nice.
Wow, man, that's gonna be our next project.
Yes.
I really thought, though, that the hockey stick and all that, Team Canada, like I said earlier, great heel faction, but their heel finishes, there's just slimy finishes, were awesome. And so busting the hockey stick.
Busted on him, too.
Breaking the hockey stick over BG James's head.
That's a hard name to say. I don't like that name.
Yeah. But anyway, it was a really good heel finish, and I enjoyed it. But it's 2.5 stars.
Cool.
Quick.
Cool.
And then we run backstage to Shane Douglas bothering Larry Zbyszko, who's wiping the sweat off his face.
Larry Zbyszko is just frantic.
Hot and bothered.
Shane's like, hey, who's going to be the main event? Larry's like, I don't know, Shane. I'll let you know when I know. Wipes some sweat off his face.
The only thing he was missing was a fat cigar in his hand just to take drags off of it. Yeah, he was. I loved it. I thought Zbyszko was great here. It was cracking me up.
I thought he was funny.
I've never heard Zbyszko do anything but yell.
That's true.
Same with Don West.
So basically what he does he tells Shane Douglas that you'll be the first to know my plan when I have one. And that was that. And then we get a video package hyping up the Ultimate X match, what it is, how it works, and who's going to be in it.
I got some trivia for you.
Yes, please.
Matt Bentley, do you know who he is?
He's Matt Bentley.
Do you know where he stands with a legendary wrestler?
No, I don't.
He's the cousin of a man coming out of retirement.
Shawn Michaels?
Yes, sir.
Really?
He was trained by and the cousin of Shawn Michaels.
I had no idea.
He's not as cute. Not quite as sexy.
He's actually a way better looking guy than Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels looks like he works at a bowling alley.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels looks like he smokes like 3 packs a day. Matt Bentley is with Tracy Brooks.
I love Matt. He's one of my favorites of all time, but he's rough.
Yeah,
I don't like bald Shawn. Can we agree on that?
Oh yeah, but even long-haired Shawn was not a good-looking guy.
No.
He's a sexy boy. Shut up.
Okay, Dad.
I'm really sorry. So we do get an Ultimate X match after that, and it's Petey Williams versus Chris Sabin versus Matt Bentley, who comes out with Tracy.
Luke?
And Petey Williams comes out with Scott D'Amore. And Gail Kim? Was Gail Kim out now? When did Gail Kim come out?
Gail Kim came out for the America's Most Wanted match.
Thank you.
Calm down. I know we were all excited to see Gail.
I got a little excited.
Easy, Larry.
Everyone's working for each other in this TNA landscape because Team Canada's with Jarrett and Jarrett's with America's Most Wanted. And my head just starts spinning. I apologize.
Oh, it's all right. Continue with the match.
It's not professional, and I want to sincerely apologize to everybody at home.
I quit.
Should we get into the match? So we do get Petey Williams comes out with Scott D'Amore, so I guess that's the only manager in the match. This match was pretty wild, so I'm going to go through it as best I can. But again, as with all the Ultimate X matches, just watch the thing. Was anything on the line? I know the title obviously wasn't.
It was the number one contender.
No, I figured it was at least that. I don't know if they necessarily stated that or not, but I just wanted to...
They did.
Did they? I must have been asleep. Just wanted to clear that up. So this was the number one contendership for the
Yeah, watch this, by the way.
X Division title. Yeah, as with any Ultimate X match, just watch it because it's so hard to do it justice.
They're all dope.
Words that I write down on paper. I will say right off the bat, this one I thought was much better than the last one we watched.
I agree.
I thought this was a very solid match. So let's get into it. So Petey Williams goes right for the belt. It gets taken out by Sabin. Then Bentley and Sabin exchange blows. Pete hits a really cool suplex combo to Sabin where he does one suplex and then kind of gets up and then hits. I guess the second one was kind of like, it was like a sidewalk slam kind of suplex, backdrop suplex. It was really nice. Petey Williams, man.
So good.
All three of these guys are.
All
really
three of
good.
these guys look great, but I think Petey was the standout for me in this match.
Oh yeah.
I feel like Sabin had
some cool
he had the
spots,
best
too,
spots for sure.
So yeah, the suplex combo gets hit from Petey to Sabin. Bentley gets off.
Nice.
Thank you. That's what I meant to say. So yes, Bentley gets off something. I don't know what. And Petey and Sabin are on the cable, and they get taken down by Bentley. I think that's where I was going with that. And then Tracy distracts Petey, who is like hubba hubba.
Wait, whoa. You
Did I miss
forgot
something?
the inverted atomic drop from the cables. by
Oh
Bentley.
yeah.
Sabin was on there, and Bentley climbed up and gave him an atomic drop from the cables
Yeah.
falling down.
Yeah.
But then you can get the boobs and
Yeah, so Tracy comes up and she's like sexily gesturing towards Petey Williams, who just can't resist.
and Scott D'Amore is outside the ring screaming, "No, no!"
He's like desperately trying to get Petey Williams' attention, but like Petey Williams is like, he's like in a trance. Is that a woman? He walks over there. He's like trying to get Tracy to give him a kiss, and then Tracy just like forces him to motorboat her.
No, forcibly.
It was
yeah.
really
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
No,
But while she's doing that, Bentley's climbing.
that
to
allows
the-
Bentley obviously to get
This
up
man
on
had
the
a
cable.
front row seat for some bosom shots,
Yes,
man.
yes. So that means Bentley gets on the cable, but Sabin is there to take him down and drops him onto Petey Williams, who got knocked down somehow at this point. And then there's a splash to Bentley, and then a crucifix buckle bomb with Petey gets buckle bombed in the corner onto Bentley.
That was a great spot.
That was so cool.
Sick.
That was awesome.
I marked out for that big time. I had to pause it because I was like, that was a kind of a quick segment, and I was like, I gotta watch that again. That was really nice.
There's a couple times we did that during this match.
Yeah, that was awesome. So now Sabin is the lone man standing after he hits a big DDT kick combo. This was a huge exchange for Sabin here.
Like a tornado, like a standing tornado DDT
But they
to
kicked-
one guy,
yeah.
and then he enziguri'd the other
while
dude.
he was in the middle of doing the DDT.
Oh.
It was really cool. And then he tries for the cable, but Bentley says no, and reps him down. Sabin tries a sunset flip to Petey on the outside, but then Petey counters it into an apron leg drop. So he leg drops onto the apron. Both men fall down to the floor. Williams gets back in, and Sabin gets back in, and then Bentley gets back in. So all three men are back up and in the ring. Then there's a neck breaker cutter combo. So it was, I think Bentley
Bentley did it. Yeah.
Bentley neck broke one man and then cuttered the other at the same time.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Sweet.
This match just was going and going and going, and there was no time to stop. I had to pause this match maybe 5 or 6 times to
Yeah, we did too.
catch up on everything that was
Such a good
happening.
spot
It was
fest.
really cool, yeah. So Bentley and Sabin get on the cable, and then Bentley gets powerbombed down. Everyone's dead. Williams and Sabin get up. They fight onto the turnbuckle, and then Sabin gets crushed on the top rope. He kind of goes into a tree of woe position, but his feet are hung. They say his feet are hung up on the ropes.
Just one of them.
And he gets the "Oh Canada."
Yes.
Oh, Canada.
Yes, and so he's stuck up there. Bentley sends Petey out of the ring. Sabin still gets caught in the rope. He frees himself. He sends Matt out. Sabin hits a moonsault, takes both men out with that. Sabin recovers, gets on the cable. He gets speared down by Bentley. I think it was a spear. It looked like a spear.
It was a
kind of
pounce.
like it was a pounce. Yeah, it was like a one-armed spear takedown. But I mean, they're up on a cable. I'm not gonna knock them for that. So then the X falls down after this, and I don't know if this was a work or a shoot.
We couldn't figure this out
is when I
either.
started losing track of what was supposed to be happening. So
We thought it was a shoot at first.
yeah,
but
so the X falls down. The match just stops for a second.
And then they start like beating each other
And
up. in the
yeah, so
corner.
all three men go out to the corner, then outside. They beat each other up while they put the X
and
back up.
The ref's like, come on. Hop,
Yeah.
hop. Here
So
they
the
come
ring
with the
crew
ladder.
comes up. They put the X
I
back.
thought it was pretty funny though when the ref was standing over the X. Petey Williams kept acting like he was going to grab it, and the ref
Yeah.
would be like, "No,
Yeah,
no."
that's a good point. That's a
back
good
up.
point.
And then as the ref would like turn around, Petey would start inching closer to it. No.
That's a good point.
Back up, Petey.
That's a good point because that will factor into the end a bit.
It will.
Yeah, so after that, all three men are outside. Bentley threatens Scott D'Amore. I like Scott D'Amore. I don't know what you guys think about him.
Well, he's
but
running Impact now.
I know.
One of the guys. It's awesome.
So Saban and Bentley are brawling on the cables until both men fall down, and then what happens? The X falls down, but this time it falls into Petey Williams' arms.
Now, Petey was waiting too.
He was waiting for it. Falls right into his arms, and he wins the match. I thought this was an excellent match with a goofy botch-esque finish. I'm still going to give the match 4 stars.
I gave it 4 stars as well. Part of me hated the finish, but if it was actually designed like that, I kind of like it.
There's a lot of execution that would have to go into it if that was the designed finish for it.
If that was the execution, it makes Petey Williams look good but dastardly at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, that's what so I gave it 4 stars, and that's kind of where I'm at. I thought it was a shoot at first when it fell down the first time, but once Petey was ready. Like, he was literally underneath it, like, come on. So that's what made me think it was a work, and in that case, I loved that finish because that was Petey Williams.
Yeah.
Like, he was by any means necessary the ultimate opportunist, kind of similar to Edge in the finish category. But can I say that I pop for the O Canada spot every time?
Oh, yeah.
And
same.
I was super sad I didn't get to see a Canadian
I was
Destroyer.
just about to say, I was praying for a Canadian
I know.
Destroyer.
It is my
That's
favorite unrealistic move of all time.
Oh, I love it. It's awesome.
Yeah, it was a super good match again, like we say with all these Ultimate X matches.
Beautiful spot fest.
Just watch it. I'm sure it's on YouTube. It's really worth watching. 3 super athletic guys in their primes. Saban's still going at it today, though, with Motor City Machine Guns. They're still kicking around.
No, the Motor City Machine Guns are now dead.
Not literally.
Well,
no, they're both still alive.
Shelly is like going back to school and kind of putting his career on hold.
Oh, okay.
Saban put a tweet out today that said, me and Shelly aren't together anymore for right now, but it's been a fun run, and I'm going to do some single stuff.
Nice. Yeah, he's in Ring of Honor if anyone wants to keep up with him.
Yep, and Petey Williams is in Impact.
Still in Impact, as we
Shelly's
said.
going back to school?
Yeah, I guess. That's why we read on Twitter from
What
Saban's
is,
Twitter.
anyone know what Matt Bentley's up to these days?
I don't know.
Hopefully he's
Hanging
still
with
around.
Sean?
Because him and Kazarian had a tag team for a while.
Yeah.
Arguing about who the real sexy boy is?
So after this, I think this is when we kind of start to disagree on something. We get an America's Most Wanted video package, hyping up their title match. It goes all the way back to them destroying Team 3D, taking them out of action, and
stealing the titles from the Naturals.
Who are going to get the rematch tonight. So of course, America's Most Wanted is Chris Harris and James Storm
With Gail Kim.
Thank you. This is the Gail Kim. I knew she was there. And then the Naturals
did.
are Chase Stevens and Andy Douglas.
Chase Stevens is the blonde, and Andy Douglas is the black
brunette
hair.
with the bandage on his head because he got hit with an old bottle.
The beer bottle.
And that made him bleed. So this was for the NWA Tag Team Championships.
Before we get started, I have something to say.
Yes, please.
James Storm has like a baby face, but the same body.
I disagree.
He's still got that chubby cowboy body, and
he was more in shape then than he is now. He's
Slightly.
he was
Slightly.
never really in shape.
he was athletic though.
He's athletic as hell, but he always had that like beard.
The
Yeah.
beer belly.
Yeah.
He lived it.
I loved it.
Yeah.
He lived it.
So we do get the NWA Tag Team title match. So all four men start a brawl outside. Stevens and Storm get in the ring, and there's like a skin the cat segment countered into like a barricade power bomb double team. It was really hard to explain. It was like a botch skin the cat.
James Storm got effed up.
Yeah, James Storm ate a big bad boy move there.
Yeah, and well, it started out the Naturals.
Yeah,
The
just
Naturals were
destroying
heated,
them
yeah.
on the stage.
Yeah, they got the heat
huge
for a
bumps.
long time.
I was thinking like,
before
wow.
the bell even rang.
Yeah, I was like, wow, they're giving the Naturals a lot of early offense.
and they did for sure, and which works because the Naturals are fed up and they're tired and they're mad and they're
it was
they've
perfect.
been terrorized by AMW this whole time.
It was perfect for the storyline, and one thing you didn't see a lot. I mean, it depends. It's either seems like a pay-per-view has too much of that with people just like raring to go and fighting before the bell. This one did not. This was perfectly placed. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. So after they do brawl inside, they eventually make their way into the ring. Gail Kim gets her first distraction of the day, which allows AMW to get the upper hand, and then Douglas gets busted open.
Well, Harris ripped off the bandage.
So I guess he gets re-busted open
and
is what we should say.
started digging his claws
he was
into
like
him and
ripping
punching
his
him.
forehead in half. It looked like,
And there was some blood.
yeah, there was some blood. There was a good amount of blood here. Storm chokes Douglas with
The wrist tape.
Yeah, I was like, what did I write here? Chokes him out with the wrist tape, which in today's WWE, man, you're fired if you choke someone, you know? Ask Daniel Bryan about that. There's a bunch of tags coming in, so Harris and Storm are tagging each other quite frequently. Stevens is in, crossbodies Harris, and then there's a back body drop. AMW take each other out on accident. So I think it was Harris took out James Storm in kind of a move, the classic move where the guy moves and he takes his partner out.
He bopped him good.
Bopped him good. Didn't really play into the match at all, thankfully. We don't need a weird dissension angle in every tag team match, but it was something that allowed the Naturals to get a little bit of the heat back. Later on in the match, Kim hands Chris Harris some powder, and just like in the show we did recently, I don't remember what show it was.
It was last week.
It was last week, I thought so. Yeah, Harris himself gets the powder, and then he takes out Storm again.
This is great because Harris can't see.
Yep.
And so he's like going around and he grabs the first guy he sees, and it's Storm. And so he slams Storm and he's celebrating.
He's like pin him, and he doesn't realize
so he hits
for
the
a great
move.
while.
And then the Naturals like pick him up and hit the AMW's finisher, the death sentence.
Yes.
For
They
two.
get the death sentence, and it is a near fall, so they steal.
That was a
AMW's move for a near
fantastic
fall.
false finish.
That was a great
It
like
was.
series of moves.
I thought
Yeah,
it was
it
over
was.
there.
Yeah, I definitely did too, because I was like, oh man, no one kicks out of the death sentence, except
the people
the
who
people who
committed
invented the
this.
move. So a little bit later on in the match, again, Gail Kim is getting involved left and right. She distracts. Who is it? It's
Douglas.
Douglas. Yeah, Douglas outside. She takes out handcuffs from somewhere and handcuffs Douglas to the barricade, and there he would stay for the rest of this match. I was wondering, like, where's the ref for this?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that too.
At any rate, there's an enziguri. Stevens hits to Harris, and then Storm hits Stevens with a bottle, and then a death sentence opens the door for the death sentence for the win. They retain their titles. Match was very chaotic, but it was fun. It was maybe a little overbooked for my liking, but I still gave it 3 stars.
Wow,
Yeah.
You made it seem like you hated it.
Hater.
No, I enjoyed it.
Okay, you made it seem like you hated it earlier. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was a fantastic tag team match.
Wow.
It kept my interest the whole time. There were some false finishes that were good. The natural disaster where Kim had to interfere to break it up that Zach missed earlier
I
was a
missed
good
that.
spot.
Yeah, there was a natural
So
disaster
I thought it was a 4-star match. I really enjoyed it. Great tag team work.
Yeah, I'm in the middle there. I give it 3 3/4 stars. I thought that the storytelling was excellent. I mean, the false finish really got me, and then for them to handcuff, oh gosh, who was that? Was that Stevens or Douglas?
Douglas.
Whoever it was. Yeah, for them to do the handcuff spot and then the beer bottle, like it was AMW. It was vintage AMW, and it was a great way to pick up the win and retain those tag titles
And then
keep
post-match-
the Naturals
oh,
pissed
sorry.
off.
And then post-match, they continued the beatdown until we cut to a promo for the Monsters Ball match.
By James Mitchell.
Also, real quick before you do that, I'm super not used to Gail Kim, 1, being a valet, and 2, being a heel.
She was like super involved in this match too.
Yeah, well, she was pretty darn involved in the whole pay-per-view, all things considered. But, I mean,
Yeah.
just seeing her as a valet is weird enough, but seeing her as a heel, which I feel like as a wrestler, most of the time she was a face, right? So
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
anyway,
So Luke, can you explain James Mitchell's promo here?
it was very good. It was a little weird.
It was a bit weird.
Yeah.
Explain why it was weird.
Well, so the idea of a Monsters Ball match, or at least in this case, I'm not sure if this was the rule every time. They're supposed to, starting at midnight the day of the pay-per-view, they lock all the contestants into basically solitary confinement, allegedly, a dark room, 4 walls, no food, nothing. So basically they can go insane for 24 hours or so until the pay-per-view. Well, James Mitchell is talking about good old Abyssy boy and saying, well, he has the advantage here because as a child, he would be starved and locked in a dark room for days on end. So inviting Abyss to a Monsters Ball match is like inviting a PTSD war veteran to a paintball fight.
Wouldn't that have like the opposite effect of what you wanted?
Well, it's basically saying you're going to be lucky if Abyss doesn't go completely nuts on you and have PTSD.
What do you guys think of like that specific stipulation for the Monsters Ball match? Like them,
cool.
Like and obviously in kayfabe, like saying they're gonna lock these guys away.
I kind of liked it, but you can't have Rhino on the pre-show. If you're
I was
gonna do
just
that.
about to say,
Yeah.
Kyle and I noticed Rhino obviously like confronted Raven, so obviously he was not in a box all the way up until the
Yeah.
match. So
Well-
if you're gonna have some contradictory stuff like that,
I think it's fine, but like it never came into play. Like all these guys were just wrestling the way they always have.
yeah, they
wrestled.
didn't come out. They didn't come out in the entrance like crazed
Yeah.
or deranged.
but it's what it is.
Yeah.
That's the only ill thing I will say about this monster.
But I really enjoyed James Mitchell's promo.
I've always loved
Mitchell's
James Mitchell.
classic.
I just feel like in 2018 that comparison is pretty insensitive. I don't think anyone would do that now.
Probably not. But get on with the match. It's a good
so
one.
again, this is another match where I'm going to do my darndest to get through everything that happened. But there was essentially 2 matches going on throughout this match because it was just pure chaos. So the match is Sabu, Jeff Hardy, Abyss, and Rhino in the Monsters Ball match, which is essentially a big old no rules match. Falls count anywhere, no DQ. Also, congrats to Abyss for getting to the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame. I think we should say that off the
Could
top.
not be more deserved.
Yeah, he deserves it a lot. Cornerstone.
He's definitely on the Rushmore, I think, for
The elder statesman of TNA, yeah.
for sure. So I noticed as Abyss was coming out, and I don't know if you guys caught this, there's a girl in the front row who was absolutely terrified of Abyss.
No, I didn't see that.
She was like in her mid-20s, but like she had this look on her face like she was about to faint.
Was she wearing a shirt that said "I heart dick"?
No, I don't think so. But it was amazing because the look on her face was priceless. I just had to write that down because I thought it was funny.
Kayfabe lives.
So right off the bat, Hardy gets ambushed. Sabu throws a chair at Abyss, and then Rhino gets sent out. Sabu goes over the top to Rhino off the chair. Hardy goes over the top to Abyss. Sabu's busted open already. I don't know when.
Dude, his eye is cracked open.
This was
I think
legit.
he hit the barricade.
I think this was legit because
Yeah, it was hard way,
He
for
was
sure.
bleeding so hard, and it was from one very specific area, like Luke said, on his eye.
I also gotta say, like, Sabu is just throwing chairs around like crazy again. I
Sabu's
love
just
it.
still throwing shit. That's what he does.
Sabu looked great in this match.
Oh, when
Yes,
he
he did.
entered, when he made his entrance, he threw a chair first thing,
I thought he was
and it
gonna throw
was
it in the
very
audience.
close to going into the front row.
Do you guys remember when Brock Lesnar threw that car door and hit someone in the audience with it? On
No,
an episode
I
of
don't
Raw?
remember that.
There was an episode of
What?
Raw in like 2014, 2015 when Lesnar like ripped off a door, like a car door, and threw it into the crowd, and he hit someone in the crowd with it and injured them pretty bad, I guess.
I guess,
Yeah, it's a damn car door.
I guess my thing with Sabu is like, this guy just doesn't give a shit, man. He's just throwing shit everywhere. I'm like, holy shit.
I love the reckless attitude that he had.
I do love the reckless attitude, but be fucking careful for the fans, man.
It was close. That chair almost looked like it was going to go over the barricade.
All right, continue where you were at.
Yeah, so Sabu's busted open already. Awful men are brawling into the crowd. So it's Abyss and Hardy, I believe, go on one end, and then Sabu
And Rhino.
go on the other end. And they each brawl in separate sides of the crowd. The poor production crew for this match must have been working their butts off because this is the part when there are essentially 2 matches happening at once.
Yeah, 2 spots happening simultaneously.
Yeah, Hardy hits an axe handle to Abyss, basically from the stands onto the lower level. It wasn't quite like from a balcony, but it was from like a riser down. It was a pretty, not the most extreme thing we'll see from Jeff by any means in this match, but Sabu and Rhino keep rolling into the crowd. Hardy and Abyss are going to the ring. Sabu goes over the top rope to Rhino. He did that spot maybe 3 or 4 times in this match, and I just loved it every single time.
On that one, was that the one where he just hung?
He hesitated on the top rope.
Balance. He was known for doing that, for like just staying on the top rope and still having his balance, and I think that's more impressive than anything.
I agree. It was awesome.
And the fact that he's doing it when he's like to the end of his career, basically, he's still doing that. That's
With one eye.
impressive. Yeah,
he looked
his
so
eye-
impressive in this match.
Yeah, he looked really good, and I was like kind of wanting him to be in the main event.
Yeah, no, I feel it. I feel it. Jeff hits a whisper in the wind to Abyss. Abyss hits a backbreaker to Jeff in return. Rhino drills Abyss and Sabu with a chair. And then there's a poetry in motion off Sabu onto Abyss, which was really, really cool.
Yeah, that was
then,
really good.
Jeff decides, hey, maybe Sabu wants to do the same, gets down on all 4s, and Sabu's not having it, just kicks Jeff.
Right in the gut.
It was so funny.
It was awesome because it was like, no, I'm not going to help you. We're not friends. Like, screw you. And then Rhino takes out everybody with a kendo stick. Rhino's busted open now. He sets up for a gore. Abyss counters with a choke slam for a near fall. That was really nice.
The kendo stick is not breaking either.
I would like to- stick stays
I would like to
intact.
mention they just don't make the kendo sticks like they used
And
to.
he was hitting hard.
smacking
He was
them.
hitting home runs, Barry
Yes.
Bonds style.
That's bamboo, baby.
So Abyss does get that choke slam for a near fall. Sabu grabs a table. Hardy grabs a ladder. Rhino hits Sabu is whipping Sabu with a weight belt. I don't know where he got this weight belt.
The trash can. I
yeah,
guess.
we were thinking that
yeah.
was like a Hulk Hogan's NWO weight belt
His
that got
throwaway.
lost in the
He was
trash.
strapping him with that thing in the ring. And then Abyss sends the ladder to Hardy. They're kind of brawling out on the ramp. And then Abyss sets up a table and another table. This is like on the edge of the entrance ramp, kind of off to the side. It's important that we know where it's placed for a reason I'll get into shortly. And then Sabu sets up a table outside the ring. Hardy hits a chair shot to Abyss. Starts cutting back and forth between these 2 segments
It's
of people
wild.
brawling. It is insane. Sabu hits a over the top rope to Rhino and then with a leg drop through a table. I just botched that a little bit, but basically Rhino was on a table. Sabu leg dropped him outside of the ring through the table.
Yeah, he went and jumped out of the ring onto the table.
Yeah.
It broke way better than that other spot we saw.
Sabu do at ECW One Night Stand. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, when there's spots where like tables don't break, it's just like, ugh.
Well, but
I can't
they
imagine
were
how that
breaking
feels.
tables like crazy in this
Left
match.
and right.
Oh, yeah. So then Jeff Hardy climbs up above the entire TNA logo. So the entrance ramp, there's like a little tunnel, and then there's the TNA like big sign. He climbs up above that. He's probably steel cage height at least.
At least.
He's super high up there.
And he is far
And
away.
he's far away from
Yeah.
Abyss, who's laid out
Yeah.
on the tables. He's
And-
probably, 8 feet from the sign.
He's a
where
first
standing.
down distance
Yeah.
away.
And
Yeah,
he
no, dude, he was
hits
far.
a huge swanton bomb to Abyss.
And
through
to make
two
this
tables.
and to make this even more impressive, he didn't take a running jump.
No, he just jumped.
Vert.
Like that could have been so bad in so many ways, but
I wrote down "wow" on my
I feel like
notes.
I wrote down "Holy shit, Jeff Hardy." in
That
all
was one of my
caps.
favorite Jeff Hardy spots ever, and that's
Dude,
that
saying
was
a lot.
insane.
I feel like he just walks into the arenas before the show. Where's your highest point?
Yeah,
Can I jump off of it?
yeah, it was amazing, and the crowd is going absolutely bonkers at this point. So we do get back into the ring now because those two guys are pretty much dead. Rhino gets the kendo stick, kendo Sabu. Rhino gets sent into a chair into the corner that he set up because of course he does, and then. Sabu hits a top rope moonsault for a near fall onto Rhino. Abyss is finally making his way to the ring, and Sabu hits a leg drop to Rhino for a near fall onto a chair. Abyss sets up a table in the corner and then throws Sabu through the table outside. So there's a table set up outside as well. There's tables everywhere. And then basically Abyss just grabs Sabu and just throws him outside through the table, which Sabu was asleep for a while after that. And then Abyss eats a gore through the corner table, and then Rhino and Hardy are on this is the finish now. So Hardy and Rhino are the two lone men standing. Rhino gets up on the middle rope with Hardy doing some kind of maneuver and then hits a destructive Rhino driver from the middle rope onto the ground. Hardy folded up like a chair.
Yeah.
It was a pile driver from the middle rope.
It was devastating.
I've never heard of the Rhino driver in my life.
I forgot about it too.
He never hit it from the rope, did he?
I don't think so.
He hit this from the second rope, and you have to if you're watching this, you have to see Jeff Hardy's body on this pile driver.
Yeah.
because he folded in half,
He crumples.
and of course that is the finish. And
4.5 stars.
Rhino
for me.
gets the win. I give it 4.75. I thought this match was fantastic.
The official broken table counter is 5 plus or minus 1.
Does that count the 2 that Abyss went through? Because Abyss
No.
went through 2.
No, 6.
Wow.
Official table counter.
Yeah, there were tables getting broken
Yeah,
everywhere.
4.5 stars. God, that match took me back to when I watched it as a
This
kid.
was almost my match of the night.
Yeah, this match
Almost.
took me back to when I was a kid. You know what? I could almost bump it up to 4 3/4. I could almost bump it up to 5.
It was amazing. It was just pure.
So
It
I'm gonna go 4 3/4. I'm bumping it up because that match was just
Well,
pure.
now I look like a dick at 4 1/4.
And that's fine. You do you. I think the thing that I noticed about this match was that it did not over or understay its welcome. It felt like the perfect amount of time, which is so rare for a match like that. Because sometimes it's like, oh, that was great, but I wish it would have went a little longer.
So-
or it's, that was great, but it could have went a little shorter.
I kind of agree, but I felt myself wanting more.
which I guess that's
Dude, I
what
could
you're supposed
watch.
to do in a
Yeah,
great
but you
match.
could watch that
I
shit.
was sitting there as a
Oh, yeah.
bloodthirsty little boy and just thinking, oh my god, I want more.
Well, the thing that was cool is there was blood, but not too much. Like it just struck a perfect.
Well, Rhino was bleeding, but Sabu was hard.
Sabu was-
hard.
yeah.
It literally took him 0.2 seconds to get busted
Yeah,
open.
this was the perfect balance of everything you want in a match like this. I thought it was almost perfect.
I'm gonna
I
also
really
make-
loved this match.
Make one more statement,
Please.
And this might be frowned upon now, but god damn it, I love it when Sabu throws chairs at people.
I love it too.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
amazing.
Like I'm watching there and I'm just thinking, God, do I have a chair that I can throw at Luke right now?
He's so nonchalant about it. Yeah.
No, you're right. Like you're right
great.
though.
It's great.
Nowadays, it's hard. Like we know we're not going to see any head shots. You know.
Right.
So it's kind of almost like, as grotesque as it is, we're just bloodthirsty fans. It's you appreciate it back then
And
because
to
it's
be
like
fair,
we're not going to see those anymore.
To be fair, you didn't get a ton of pure headshots on this show or even in this match. There were some, but it's not like 2000 era ECW or WWE. guys were protecting their heads, but the high spots is what stuck out to me in this match.
Yes, for sure. But I feel like the throwing the chair has to hurt worse than actually swinging it.
Oh, yes.
I would believe that. Yeah, because who knows what angle it's coming at,
But yeah, no, gorgeous mayhem, and
that's a good way to put it.
So good.
I loved it. So after that, we get an announcement. Zbyszko has made up his mind. He's announcing that there's going to be a 10-man over the top rope, basically a mini Royal Rumble, to determine the number one contender for Jeff Jarrett's title. That will be in the main event.
So creative.
Turned out to be pretty good.
Well, no, it was all. I think it wasn't a stip. Like all people who had participated in the pay per view in some
some capacity.
Because there's one guy in there
one exception
that didn't wrestle.
And then we get a hype package for Christopher Daniels and AJ Styles for the X Division Championship, which can only mean one thing, and that is the next match on the card. And this is a 30-minute Iron Man match. They had an Iron Man match previously, and this is the rematch of the Iron Man match.
My body was ready.
I knew this match was going to be good, but it blew my socks off. Blew him right off, right in the living room.
Can we have the sidebar now or
yes,
later?
Let's do it.
Christopher Daniels. So I'm gonna say the big three of the X Division: Samoa Joe, AJ, and Christopher Daniels.
Yeah, I agree.
Of those three, why didn't Christopher Daniels ever? And still, why doesn't he get a WWE run?
I've wondered that. It's kept me up at night. I've wondered that so much.
I've always wondered it too.
He's amazing.
I'm glad that Ring of Honor gave him a title run though.
It was a short one, but I'm glad he got one.
I'm glad he got one.
He's amazing. He can be a great heel. He's charismatic. He sells his ass off, and he's a great worker.
I feel like he's never gotten the recognition he's deserved in any promotion that he's worked for.
It's because he's been the shadow of AJ and Samoa Joe, unfortunately.
Yeah, he was great, and he was great in this match.
Great tag team worker, great singles worker.
He could be the top guy in any promotion where those two aren't in.
Yeah, I agree. Can I say I was exhausted after watching this match?
Well, yeah. That's what Iron Man matches do.
Should we get right into it?
Do it.
Yes.
And again, this is the third match in a row where I'm going to say just watch the freaking match because it is worth every second of the 30 minutes. So we get in the match. Daniels ambushes Styles at the bell for an early advantage. They trade strikes and chops. There's a big arm drag by AJ to Daniels, and then AJ hits this brutal-looking backbreaker onto Christopher Daniels. Really nice exchange to start the match. They head outside. Daniels gets sent over the barricade, and the camera's just on Christopher Daniels, and he's like kind of recovering in the crowd. And then AJ flies in like a madman out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, dude!
He flew in and takes
that was
out
bad
Daniels.
camera work on that one.
No, I think that was good camera.
Well,
work.
it was good in that he was just out of the frame completely.
No, I loved it. I thought it was great.
I wanted to see the whole thing.
I wanted to see where he took off from.
You saw him back up, but I loved the shot because it just looked like he came out of nowhere.
Was that from the apron or the turnbuckle?
It was from, I think it was from the turnbuckle. No, the apron. I'm sorry. I apologize.
For it to be from the apron, which is decently close to the height of the barricade, that man just soared.
He flew. And so they get back in the ring, and then AJ gets a near fall out of that, and then they get a really long... This is when AJ starts becoming methodical AJ, and he just puts this rear headlock and also a chin lock onto Daniels forever. But
he does the little things here. Most people just put the rest hold in and they just have it and they make it look like they're going. He's cranking.
Yeah. And he has an answer for everything that Daniels tries to do to get out of the hold. And this goes on maybe for like a half second too long, but I'm not going to complain about it because, again, you're telling a story. This is all part of the greater story of this match. Exactly. And this goes on for a long time. Eventually, Daniels breaks free, and there's a nice kind of little wrestling exchange after that. There's a big kick to Daniels to the ribs from AJ, and then AJ hits a little running forearm, like the basement forearm that he does, and then slams Daniels' head onto all 6 of the turnbuckles, which was just, man, AJ was kind of brutal here for a while in this match. I like that spot a lot. It's really simple, but again, it's just, I'm going to brutalize you and I'm going to wear you down because I have 30 minutes to do it, and this is the way I'm choosing to do it. And I just thought that was really good storytelling and really good character work by both men.
It's almost like Christopher Daniels threatened to steal his kids.
Almost. You're taking advantage of all 6 of the turnbuckles too,
Yes, so I loved. You didn't agree, but I loved the 6-sided ring. Kyle did too.
I didn't mind the 6-sided ring. I just don't miss it.
It was just different, and I felt like it was more fast-paced. But
I think at the time it kind of gave TNA a little bit of an edge that it needed.
Yes,
particularly during this time.
I completely agree.
So then AJ is very methodical here. He sinks like a bridged chin lock, and then Daniels ditches it and then breaks the hold, and then AJ hits a flying forearm, which gets counted into a suplex, and then Daniels twists AJ's neck, like looks like he's gonna snap it, like he looks like he's gonna just tear AJ's head off, and then he does it again. That looked brutal. Like for such a simple spot.
No,
like,
he literally looked like he was Shao Kahning his ass.
Yeah. And then there's a tilt-a-whirl, really nice tilt-a-whirl backbreaker to AJ from Daniels for a near fall. And there's a roll-up for a near fall. This is when the match kind of went from like methodical to, I don't want to say desperation yet, but it was getting to the point where both men were like, we got to get a fall here soon. So there were a lot of roll-up attempts kind of in this little sequence here. So AJ tries getting up, he gets to the rope, and then Daniels hits a split-legged moonsault for a near fall, and then a lion salt into a DDT. It was a second rope moonsault, but I always call it the lion salt, which he does still today. So he goes for the moonsault, then he grabs Daniels and hits the reverse DDT. Still does that spot today. I still love it. Every single time he does it.
Did you say a split leg moonsault?
That was what Daniels hit to AJ, and then AJ recovered and hit the
what kind of moonsault is that?
Split-legged.
Was that not the BME?
No, that was not the BME.
Oh, okay.
Split-legged is when you bounce your legs off the rope and then do a moonsault from that. That's Naomi does it too. This man doesn't know what a split-legged moonsault is.
He doesn't know what the BME is.
I know what the BME is.
Well, I know he bounces off, but he goes second rope, top rope for the BME and bounces off.
Yeah, this is just when he bounces off this second rope with his legs, with his butt.
Well, gentlemen, this is where I retire.
It's all good. It's all good. And so he hits that nice DDT, and then both men are back up. There's strike combo from AJ to Daniels, and then a really like unique suplex that AJ hits to Christopher Daniels for a near fall. It was like a headlock suplex, kind of, almost. It was really unique. There's a lot of unique suplexes. There's another one in this match later, and there's a pump handle gutbuster for a near fall that AJ hits to Daniels. And at this point, they're really starting to like wonder what's it going to take for a fall. We're getting close to halfway through this match, and there's still no falls. And then there's a phenomenal forearm gets countered into a Christopher Daniels rolling Death Valley driver for a near fall. Daniels suplexes AJ off of the top rope for a near fall, and then there's a neckbreaker countered by AJ into one of his own for a near fall, and then there's essentially a blue thunderbomb by Daniels for a near fall. The match is really picking up pace here.
Now we get the BME.
Yes. There's a lot of
the best moonsault.
Yes,
ever.
And then that's we get the BME for the near fall. That's right after that. And then AJ hits a torture rack into like a torture rack bomb for a near fall. And then this is desperation's really setting in. AJ misses a corner splash. Daniel knees him to ringside, and then Daniels hits him with a suicide dive outside. There's a Pele kick to Daniels once he climbs up onto the apron. AJ's back in the ring at this point. Pele kicks him. He gets knocked back down. And then AJ goes over the top rope with Tope Suicina onto Daniels. Whew, Daniels hits a backdrop slam onto AJ from the apron right to the floor.
Oh yeah, no, that
Daniels
had so much momentum.
Daniels ate the worst of that because he kind of landed on the concrete because at ringside there's only about 3 feet of like padding,
mat, yeah.
And then there's like a little concrete area, and Daniels ate that hard. You don't see that spot. Usually you see it onto the apron, but he just did it right off the apron onto the ringside area.
AJ was like holding onto the rope with his hand, and so I think they just had all that force.
Yeah.
And then when he let go with his hand, they just...
It looked great. And then both men are really selling really well here. They're exhausted. They're crawling around. Daniels hits a roll-up for a near fall. AJ hits a roll-up for a near fall. He misses a Pele kick. And then we get dual roll-up attempts for near falls. AJ eats a German suplex and then pops up and then lariats Daniels. Both men are down. AJ rolls out of the ring. AJ rolls onto Daniels for a near fall during the double down. AJ hits a crossbody, which gets turned into a Daniels roll-up for a near fall. I still have 2 pages of notes here almost, people. This match is crazy. And then there's an integrated Daniels for a near fall, and then one by... and then one by 2 Daniels, and then one from Daniels for a near fall. He goes for the angel wings, gets countered into a pin bridge, and then Daniels kind of gets up, and then AJ... He goes for his own little bridging pin. AJ gets up from that, deadlifts Daniels, hits a Styles Clash. There's about 10 seconds left, rolls him over, gets the pinfall.
With one
fall
second.
As time expires.
1 second remaining, yeah.
I need a cigarette after that match, boys. Ooh, boy.
Well, you forgot one spot.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
It was. You mentioned the spot, but when they were on the outside, they got thrown to the outside. AJ had the biggest bruise I've ever seen on his leg.
Yeah. So there's a part when AJ gets thrown to the outside, and he takes this bump on the steps.
Yep.
On the ring steps, hard. His like upper thigh hits the ring steps, and he has this nasty bruise on his thigh. That did not look like it felt good at all.
Yeah. That was deep.
I gave the match 4 3/4. Great match, fantastic match.
Yeah,
good story, good
this was my
selling,
match
good
of the
everything.
night.
And what was so special about it? What was so special about this? How you felt about this match?
I'm giving out my first 5-star rating to this match because this is one of my favorite matches I think I've ever seen. I really like this match.
It was a great match.
A lot. And I honestly, I plan on going home tonight and rewatching it without having to take notes because I just want to see it again.
Sweet.
Yeah, for sure. No, I also gave it 5. This is 2 of the greatest in the world.
doing their thing
and giving them that much time is incredible. There's such little nuances with these two.
Yeah.
Like a rest hold being vicious.
Yeah.
AJ Styles cranking on it. The way they sell. That rolling Death Valley driver you talked about. Christopher Daniels hit that and he landed on his feet.
Yeah.
He landed straight up. So like just the sheer feats of athleticism that they're able to pull off here, they couldn't have booked that better. And that crazy exchange at the end with like the 3 different reversals, the bridges, and then the Styles clash with 1 second left. The timing.
There's no way I can do it justice.
They just told the ultimate story.
Yeah, I love the storytelling throughout this match, and the character work was just great. Like you can see as the match progressed, the subtle emotion in both men changed from almost like cocky arrogance to desperation to like real desperation to exhaustion and then back to desperation. It was art.
These two dudes have the best chemistry of any two wrestlers
They
ever.
really do. They
really do.
Because they had that 3-way with Joe, right?
The Unbreakable one.
Yeah. And that's also
my God.
a fantastic
These two
match.
could never put on a bad match with each other.
Well, they always say AJ could wrestle a broom and put on a good match, and I think Daniels is very much in that.
He's right up there.
In that vein. After that, we go straight into the 10-man Battle Royal, which is for the number 1 contendership.
And your 10 men are Samoa Joe, Raw and the Truth Killings, the Homicidal, Suicidal, Genocidal Sabu, Lance Hoyt, the Monster Abyss, Jeff Hardy, Pounce, Monty Brown, Rhino, Kip, Billy Gunn James, and the phenomenal AJ Styles.
Yeah, so we'll kind of go through it. I didn't write a ton of notes for this match.
I didn't really write much either.
Again, it's an over-the-top
it was a
battle
battle
royal.
royal.
But I wrote down the important spots. So Samoa Joe and the Truth do start, as Kyle said. And then after, so the 2 first men are in the ring. It's 90 seconds when the next comes out. And then after that, every minute someone will come out. And they actually kept to the timeline. There was a really quick pace to this, which I really liked. You know, when you watch something like the Royal Rumble, it could be, they say it's 90 seconds, but it could be 2 minutes, 1 minute, 5 minutes. Like there's no real. Like,
Whatever the hell they feel
exactly. And this was, you saw the minute timer, you know, the whole time. So I really liked the exchange that Samoa Joe and the Truth had, Raw and the Truth, to start this match. So right off the bat, R-Truth is kind of like teasing Joe for his dance moves earlier, and then Joe doesn't like that and just hits him with the strike, hits this massive running knee, and then gets him into the corner, knocks him down, hits another running knee / boot that the cameraman was in the perfect spot to catch that spot because it was
looked brutal.
Vicious.
Yeah.
It was vicious. It was V trigger worthy, if I say so myself. It was really great. And then Truth does get back up. He hits a leg sweep. He tries to send Joe over the top rope. As that's happening, Sabu comes out, throws a chair at both men, and then he hits a moonsault to Truth, and then a flying kick to Joe. And then Hoyt comes in, trade strikes with Joe, big boots Joe, and then he attacks Sabu in the corner. And then after this, it's just men brawling. Abyss comes in. He faces off with Joe, trade big chops, and then double choke slam tees, which we do not get. Jeff Hardy comes in. He's hobbled Jeff Hardy comes out to the ring, and then Monty Brown comes in, pounces Sabu, dumps Hardy, who's the first elimination, and it was supposed to be where like he clotheslines Hardy out. He's supposed to Cactus Jack himself out of the ring, basically, where he does the clothesline but goes out.
But it's ugly.
But Hardy goes out first, and then clearly you can just see Monty Brown throw himself out of the ring.
Yeah, there's like no momentum.
Yeah. So yes, Brown and Hardy are both out at that point. Rhino comes in, he eliminates Hoyt right away, and then Kip James is in at 9, who is the man who kind of was involved, kind of was not in the match. He splashes Abyss in the corner, and then it's a famouser on him. AJ Styles comes in at number 10. He is really hobbled.
Yeah, he does not want to be
Well, I
here.
mean, he literally just got done with a 30-minute Iron Man match. They went straight into it.
It's worth noting that Sabu was eliminated off camera, which is that was a bummer, man. Even the announcers were confused. They're like, is Sabu out? No, I don't think he's out. And then as AJ Styles was coming to the ring, they were like, by the way, Sabu's out. I don't know who eliminated him. I don't know when it happened. He was there 1 second, and then he was gone. The camera didn't quite catch that, but that happens. So AJ comes in. AJ's looking hobbled. The crowd is really behind Samoa Joe at this point. Kip James is eliminated by Abyss, and then he saves R-Truth. Sorry, he saves the Truth from being eliminated. And then he tries again. Samoa Joe's trying to eliminate Truth, and then the ref kicks him out, and then he does get eliminated after that. And then Abyss comes up and eliminates Joe and AJ at the same time, turns around, eats a gore, gets thrown out, and Rhino is your winner. I give the match 3.5 for a short little battle royal. I thought it was fun.
3.5.
I thought it was fun.
I gave it 2.5. I thought it was fun, but I didn't think it was anything special.
I really liked the exchange that Truth and Joe had in the beginning of this match. It was only a few minutes long, but they had really good chemistry with each other, I thought.
Bro, you gave a 10-man battle royal a 3.5?
I thought it was fun.
What'd you give it, Luke?
I gave it a 2. It was a battle royal.
Okay.
Meltzer over here.
And Rhino, I mean, Rhino won. There was a few sweet spots that I kind of
hard to
forgot
score.
about.
I really wanted Sabu to win, but
It's hard to score those matches.
But then I think so. We get to Rhino versus Jeff Jarrett for the NWA title with
Rhino's
the
third
Huntington
match of the
Beach bad boy,
Tito
the
Ortiz.
People's Champion, Tito Ortiz, as
And one of the
referee.
worst officials of all time.
Tito was fast and loose with the rule book here, man. So Jeff Jarrett comes out.
Oh, by the way,
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Tito Ortiz has his referee shirt, and on the back of it is just this BS patchwork sign for his website.
Team Punishment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
teampunishment.com or something like that.
Yeah.
And you could tell that the shirt was made, and then someone just stitched this patch. He's like, whoa.
You could like see
Let me get some
You could
branding.
see the clothespins on there.
Yeah,
that was
let me
holding
get
it
some
on.
branding here.
So Jarrett comes out first, or actually Rhino's already out, I guess.
Yeah, Rhino's already out.
Rhino's out because this immediately goes from the battle royal right into the main event, and of course Jeff Jarrett gets the most extravagant entrance I've ever seen in my life. There's
The whole firework
smoke
budget.
and pyro, and he's just bask in his glory. Not to steal Keith Lee's thunder, but he comes out, and then
we found out that his guitar literally had pyro coming out of it too.
Yeah, we did.
that was pretty cool. So he held his guitar up, and it was like Mickey Mouse at Phantasmic at Disneyland, and
Yeah,
out
but there was
comes the
so
pyro
much
out of the
other
guitar.
pyro you could
couldn't
barely
even
tell that the damn guitar had pyro.
I couldn't tell until I got to the studio, and Kyle and Luke were watching it, and I saw that part again, and I was like, oh, it's pyro. And then of course he tells the boys in the back, bring it on out, and then they bring out a casket because Jeff Jarrett says he's going to put somebody in a casket tonight, and he literally meant it because he literally brought a casket out to ringside.
Yes.
Yes. So the match starts. The bell never rang, and Jarrett just attacked Rhino, who is still down, and sends him outside. Hits his head on the announce table a few times. Oh, first he did something kind of nice in the beginning of this match.
Nice drop kick.
Yeah, he hits a nice drop kick. That's what it was. And then he gets him outside, slams his head on the announce table, slams his head on the announce desk 3 or 4 times. Then he gets a trash can, blatantly just hits him with a trash can.
And Tito Ortiz is not doing
Does
ref
nothing.
stuff.
This man's never read a rule book in his damn life.
He's not counting. He's not doing anything. I mean, obviously, this is what he was told to do, but it just made him look like such a chump official because he's just letting everything go. And then he slams Rhino onto the casket. They eventually do get back into the ring. And this is when Kim gets involved. She tries to interfere. She goes for a crossbody onto Tito, who catches her and just like sets her down out of the ring, and then like chases her down the ramp, and he's like, no, like treating her like a dog. He's like, get out of here, hiss, go, shoo. And then while that's happening, the AMW come out. They slip Jeff Jarrett a guitar. He guitars Rhino hard. I know it's a gimmick guitar, but he hit him very hard with
Well, is that the
guitar.
one where he caught him like on the lower part?
Yeah.
He baseball swung it, dude.
Ooh, he hit him really hard, right in the face and the
Yeah.
arm. His arm was busted open.
You also forgot how Jeff Jarrett kept going to the top and jumping on
Oh, yeah,
Rhino,
he hit-
and then Rhino caught him, threw him up, and kicked him in the
choke.
dick.
Yeah, that's right. I can't forget that. I love dick spots. So yeah, Jeff Jarrett hit 2 flying lariats off the top rope and went for a third. And as that's happening, just goes to Dick Kick City. He like gives him like a pop up choke slam dick kick. Like he gets him in choke slam position, lifts him up, and then just kicks him right in the
Not what you
gonads.
expected,
No,
but equally great.
yes, and then a little later on, he does get the guitar shot. It was brutal, and then after that, Rhino kicks out after 2, and then AMW is getting involved. Tito punches them both out, not having it. He's doing some officiating now, and then JJ tries for another guitar shot, and then he eats a gore. Rhino wins the match and becomes your new
Out of nowhere.
NWA champion.
I gave it 2.5 stars. It was not the best match in the world, but the ending made up for it.
It was really overbooked. It was a bit sloppy. I gave it 2.5 stars because Rhino won the title.
Same.
I didn't like the match.
Same.
The match was fine. I enjoyed it.
It wasn't fine. Seeing Rhino with gold, I like that.
Then afterwards, AMW.
This was a mess.
AMW attacks Rhino. 3 Live Crew comes out to make the save. Then Team Canada comes out. They smash Rhino with the guitar and put him in a.
They put him in the casket.
Put him in the casket, and they start to celebrate with the title. And I'm like, God damn it!
I thought this was when the show was going off the air, and I was like, Jarrett did it again.
And then the Dudley Boys make their return to TNA.
sorry,
Team
who?
Team 3D.
they come out, they take out everyone. They 3D Eric Young, who the whole time the Dudleys were brawling with everyone else.
Eric's just on top of the
He's
casket.
like on top of the casket, like shaking in his boots.
What do we do?
And so, of course, he gets to eat the 3D. He gets put in the casket. They hand the title to Rhino. He holds it up on top of the casket, and we go off air. So thankfully...
Well, with Eric Young in the casket, he stomps the
slams it
shit out
shut.
of it.
So what do you guys give the show? Letter
Overall,
grade?
man, I thought this was a really good show.
Really good.
I'm glad it stood the test of time.
I really enjoyed it. There was a couple duds, but I didn't give anything worse than a 2.5, I don't think.
I'm up there too, I think.
I'm going to give it an A-. I thought it was fantastic.
That's what I gave it to. I thought it...
I think this is our best show since Mania 19 that we've looked at.
Yes.
God, this show, it takes me back to why I loved it so much.
I'm really glad that you suggested it, and I'm glad that I got to watch it.
Yeah,
It's good.
thanks, man.
one.
Well, we took one look at this card. By the way, I gave it an A- as well. We took one look at this card, and we're like, there's no way this isn't going to be incredible. There's just none. It's way too... Back then, you wouldn't have thought that this was so star-studded, but knowing what we know now, it was just like, there's no way that this much talent isn't going to just produce.
There were, those three, the tag title match, which obviously I was a little down on, but still gave it a 3, and then the Monsters Ball, and then the X Division
Hell,
Championship
this main
match.
event was probably the worst match.
It was the worst match.
It
on the
was
card,
a very good
by
show.
far, and that's. I mean, it wasn't the worst match I've ever seen, but it was by far the worst match on the card.
Such a good show.
Like 3 guitars were broken.
Yeah, this was a really Thank you, Kyle, for suggesting the show.
If you're a TNA fan, if you're a wrestling fan,
If you
watch
haven't seen this pay per view, watch it.
And two things.
Yes, please.
Before we wrap up, one. Hold on, don't let me forget it. Oh, one, they did say at the little Fan Fest promo thing that they did, the little commercial, that what he likes so much is this: they're not a soap opera. There was barely any promos in this pay-per-view. There were 10 matches, including a 30-minute Iron Man match. And most pay-per-views we've been watching have 6 or 7.
And a 10-man over-the-top battle royal,
Yeah,
too.
dude, and just it randomly smack dab in the middle. So there was a ton of wrestling, a ton of great wrestling, and they did it the right way, and they told the story in the ring where it should have been.
I didn't think anything was overbooked really until the last match.
I even liked the last match. I enjoyed
it.
The show
It was a
entertained me.
great show. Yeah. What's next?
Last thing, hold on.
Sorry.
Conspiracy theory alert. During the AJ Styles Christopher Daniels match, guess who was not officiating?
Slick.
Have we ever seen Christopher Daniels and Slick Johnson in the same ring?
That was supposed to be the
Same
X-Files
soul
thing.
patch, same bald head.
I mean,
both jacked.
You've got a point.
Christopher Daniels and Slick Johnson.
You've got a point. You've got a
All
point.
right,
We'll look
so
into that.
I knew there's a reason I loved him.
I'll get my people on that. What's next, Kyle?
So next week we got King of the Ring 1998.
King of the Ring.
I've been so excited
This
for
is
this.
the King of the Ring, the Mankind Undertaker Hell in a Cell match. There's also Kane and Stone Cold for the WWF title. This is one of the earliest pay-per-view memories I have as a kid. The first one was WrestleMania 14, obviously.
Good God!
Stone Cold winning the title, and then this one, watching this with my family and just having that image of Mankind going off that cell is forever, and I mean forever, burn into my memory, and I cannot wait to watch this pay-per-view as a whole again.
That is literally the most well-known wrestling clip of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe besides Andre getting slammed, but I'd say this is above it.
So tune in for next week. It's going to be a good show.
Hell yeah.
After that, we have Halloween Havoc
1996 with Hogan versus Macho Man.
and then Evolution, which again I will be absent for. So these two and Samoa Joe.
Yes. Well, we'll keep it under wraps, or do we just want to announce it now?
We'll keep it under wraps till the week before.
It's Samoa Joe.
Yeah, it's basically Samoa Joe.
All right, well, we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening so much.
Thanks, Hulkamaniacs.